Hi everybody, welcome back to Big Oggie Golf, and this is the third instalment of the Curno crew from the Buccaneers. This is Nick Cooper. You've
Hello.
seen Nick on the channel on numerous occasions, sometimes being a bit daft, sometimes not. And you're a member here?
I am.
As well as a member elsewhere?
I'm a member elsewhere at Batchford. I'm a full member here and a full member there as well. So
One day we'll get to the other side of where you live, in the other part of the country.
So I actually have two sets of clubs. You could do a what's in the bag twice.
Twice.
Although a lot of it will be similar.
So, you said today you actually had to look in your bag to see what you had.
Well, I changed my... I mean, the irons have been the same for a number of years, but they played with I-20s. And I used to have the I-20s for the driver, the 3 and the rescue, and I just found when my game was off a bit last year, I was just hitting that ball a little bit too far in the rough or whatever, so I decided to have a little bit more forgiving clubs and less distance. So I went down to Hale, tried a few things out, and these Cleveland ones, regular shaft, 10.5 height on that there.
Okay, so you've got a Cleveland launcher, is it?
It is a launcher, yes.
Okay.
I had to actually look at it and see what it was before.
Yeah, well that's what I get you to do.
But this is the one I slightly prefer now, because I used to have the I-20, which was, I think it was a 21 degrees, and it went reasonably far, you know 200, 205. But this launcher here, it's a higher flight, and it lands softer, and I actually much prefer that.
Do you find the higher flight is a problem at West Cornwall because it's more linksy? Well, it is linked.
Yeah, it depends on which one. You've got to play a lot here with the wind. You use so many different clubs in West Cornwall. I mean, there are some holes. My favourite, the 6s, you'll see later. If it's into the wind, you have to hit a driver. Yeah. If there's no breeze, you can get away quite easily with the 3-wood down there. And if it's downwind, because the 3-wood can go too far on that hole, as you probably perhaps see later on, you've got the choice of having a 3-iron. So it's nice having. You never know what the wind is going to be like here. No. And you never know whether the ball's going to be with me necessarily in the light rough or off a bare lie. We joked on Steve's
little what's in the bag, which will probably go out before this.
Yeah.
That he's got so many clubs in his locker.
He's got about 100 clubs in this thing there. He can play with. I don't even know what clubs he plays with, because he seems to have one every time.
But like I said, it's about changing, hopefully, with the conditions. You turn up here and suddenly the distance will be totally different to anywhere else.
You can do. I mean, the par 3 down there, the 15th. In the last 4 weeks, I've hit a 3-iron and I've hit a pitching wedge. Yeah. On the same hole. And both balls have gone the same distance.
It's a crazy place. West Cornwall, if you don't know where this is near St Ives.
Yeah.
And St Ives is a microclimate. It literally is a microclimate. Yeah. You can be 5-6 miles away and it's completely different. I've driven here and 2 miles away it's been sunny, and you've just suddenly hit this wall of thick cloud and it's just fogged out.
And the wind always, you think it's always supposed to come in from the west, but that's not the case here.
I've heard that there's the people with the helicopters, the RAF and things, they come and they test all their helicopter pilots on that bay that we see from St Ives because of the strange wind conditions.
I wonder why we saw a lot of them there.
We have to play golf here.
It can be here, but also sometimes you can be mind-bound. You don't see the wind.
No.
So you do have to look around and look at flags, because I mean, I'm not a great believer in the wind makes a huge difference. If it's a bad shot, it's a bad shot. The wind just makes it a worse shot. Sure. But you on this one here, because you've also got a lot of slopes.
There's a lot of runoff.
There is a lot of runoff. You can still hit the middle of the fairway and still wonder, where is my ball now? Yeah. So I mean that can happen. So you've got to think your way around this course. When I first joined here, probably about 7-8 years ago now, and played just a few times a year, I didn't particularly like the course, but now I've grown to love it, because you've got used to it. It is a course you have to get used to, and you have to plan your way around.
I think that's the same with a lot of courses. I played yesterday at Alfred Lee Golf Club in Devon, and I got completely lost on a lot of places. There's a lot of hidden greens where you just don't realise they're just kind of around the corner, so you're not really aiming for where you think you should be aiming. It's a course that once you've played it a few times, you can plot your way around it better.
It is, as long as you can plot where your shots are going to go as well, which kind of helps. But the big difference here, of course, is, as you know, John, a lot of the greens, there's no safe area left or right. No. On a lot of holes there. I mean, you take the second hole, there's no safe left or right. No. If you take the third hole, there's no
with big bunkers that you've rolled into.
Like here. So it's sometimes better almost to come up short sometimes. It's the only safe shot to play if you want to. And trying to get it near the edge of the green, you've got so many choices. You can either use a pitching wedge to try and take the humps and mounts out of play here. But that's very difficult off a bare lie. Yeah. From 20-30 yards. So a lot of the time
you're bulleting them straight across the green.
You have to take a putter or something, or a 6-iron, and have to really think, right, where's my ball going to bounce? Because you can suddenly bounce and golf this way, or you suddenly can bounce and golf that way. But that's the beauty of links.
People joke with me when I go and play Parkland and stuff, because I get a hybrid out and I'm knocking them big putting from like 50, 60 yards, and they're amazed that it actually works. But it does, because we get so used to doing it.
If it works for you, I mean, that's what counts. I mean, for any handicappers, unless you're a single-figure handicappers, you know, it's a different game for them in a way.
A different skill level, isn't it?
But for the rest of us, we've got to make the best of what we can do on the hole. And getting a bogey or sometimes a double bogey is a good shot. You know, it's a good score on some holes here. You know.
So we shall move on. Have a quick look at the irons.
Right. I mean, the irons are all the same. They've been for years. They're I-20s. It's a regular flex.
Okay.
They're slightly offset, but that's not for any reason. It's just that I had a lesson once, and that's what they told me to get. So that's what I got. I'm not a great believer in clubs make a huge difference for people of a handicap level of sort of, you know, 13 to 28 as such.
Yep.
Other than the basics. Don't go for blades, because they really are for low handicappers. I had blades before. Your good shots with a bladed club are fantastic. But I got sick of just hitting it 2 yards into the rough.
Yeah, there's not enough good shots.
Yeah, that's right. You need a little bit of forgiving. So something like this, which is not too thick and chunky, shall we say, is quite good for the sort of, you know, probably 12 to about 20 handicapper. If you're over 20 or something, the ones that are slightly thicker and more cavity backed are a good ice. But this is a good sort of club for it.
I have to say, this is becoming a ping advert, because I've done 3 watts in the bag this morning for the Kerno crew at West Cornwall, and they've got, oh, I've got ping eyes, oh, I've got ping this, oh, I've got ping.
Yeah. Well, I first got pings just because in my mind I thought they were the best. And if I got a ping club, I couldn't blame my clubs. I could only blame myself.
Yep.
So that was one of the reasons why I had it done. One other pro did tell me once sometimes, these are actually thicker than normal.
Okay, yeah, they look a little bit.
A lot of people don't tend to do about that, but when I find if you don't have a thick thing there, for me, there's a lot of waggle up there.
Yeah.
And I like to have it, it's not quite like a baseball bat, but I like to have it here, feel it firmly in my hand. So I got all the clubs with a thicker grip. And it's worth sometimes more looking at your grips as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
As anything else. So these are all the I-20s, 3-iron. Always keep a 3-iron, because I play, I love a 3-iron into the wind sometimes, where you can just sort of knock it down.
Yep.
And I also love it, it's not a problem on this particular course. On some other courses I play, there's lots of trees around. It's a great club for going under the trees.
Under the trees, absolutely.
You always need to do it, and I can bend it around the trees. Just put your club like that, whack, 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 bend it underneath the tree from, you know,
again, it's making use of the clubs for not necessarily the thing you think they're designed for.
No, I mean, the only reason I keep this is mainly to go under trees.
Yeah, and that's a perfect idea.
Great club for that, great club for that. I mean, the woods, as you know, these are all the Cleveland launcher ones, which are fine. The putter, I just quite like the visually. Okay. You know, I don't look at them too much and see, you know, what's the maker, what's anything else. I just like the 2 lines on the back.
So you've gone for Odyssey by the look of it.
Yeah.
Looks like a white hot again, yeah?
Yeah, I have had, it's not as a white hot. I mean, I have had one putter lesson about a year ago.
Okay.
And that was only really, everyone has their own putter styles, even the pros have a different putter style. But I just wanted to show him one style of how to do a putt. So I always knew if I missed it, it wasn't because of my style.
Sure. I
was making a bad putt.
Yeah.
And the one thing they did teach me, which I hadn't done before, was he said all the good putters, their eye is over the ball.
Yeah.
And my eye was always back here. And he said, I don't care how you putt it or whatever, but keep your eye over that ball. And that was quite a good, that's actually improved my putting.
Yeah, and that works for that putter, yeah? You don't have any other ones, you kind of use that one all the time?
No, same one. I
like
might
Steve.
change the putter every 8 years or something else then. You know, I'd rather spend the money on a lesson. I mean, lessons are good. I had one with Wayne at Hale the other day, and sometimes they talk to you and you don't understand what they're saying. I like lessons when they're simple. I mean, Wayne was just simply saying, you know, I always thought I was coming over here, my bad shot, and he was saying, no, your club is coming down, you're not keeping it there, your club is coming there. And that's visually,
just that one thing
you can almost see it in your right eye. That one little tip I can think there. And that's actually, I haven't lost the ball in 2 rounds. And that's the first time ever in 2 rounds in West Cornwall. And that's thanks to Wayne.
That could be kiss of death. We're going to do a 3-hole challenge in a bit.
I mean, another little one. I had lessons with Brian Lewis, who was Tom Lewis's dad. Who's Tom Lewis on the Pro Tour. And he once said to me, I went to him and I said, I'm getting all confused now. Do I go here, back here, club? And all he did is looked at me and said, Nick, you're overcomplicating it. He emptied the bucket of balls. He stood there. He passed me the empty bucket of balls. he said, pass it to me. He said, that's it, end of lesson. You are overcomplicating things.
Yeah, I've seen that done with folders. People give you like a book in your hand. And
it
do
is,
that.
because we all it's amazing how many things in the backswing you can think of within two other things.
So
I don't even know what else is in the bag.
Wedges, do we miss wedges?
Sorry?
What happened with wedges?
Oh, wedges, yes. Normal pitching
As
wedge,
you're saying,
wedge.
you know, let's get the ball short of the greens.
And this one, this is a Cleveland one.
Okay.
It's a 60-degree one. Very, very rarely use it. It's such a tricky club. It's if you have to use it.
Yeah.
You know, it's if, for example, you know, you've got a bunker there and the green there, and you literally have to go over. There is no other choice whatsoever. It's nicer to play out of a little light rough like over there, but coming off a bare lie. So if I'm 60, 70, 80 yards away, I still won't use this club because the chance of hitting this one wrong, you can blade it across the green. I tend to hit 3/4. I use my wedge a lot for shorter shots, rather even sometimes than the sand wedge, which can be a little bit bouncy and clunky.
Okay, so your set is basically pitch and wedge, sand wedge. You don't have specialist degree wedges apart from that one.
No, I think, to be honest, unless you're a really good golfer or lower, going, you know, 52, 54, 56. I mean, there's such a small part of the ball to hit here.
Yeah.
I think at my level, I'm playing off 13. You know, I'm sometimes better off just getting an 8-iron and just having a little dink along the pitch and a run. But trying to get this one up in the air, it's, to be honest, it's too risky.
Too risky, isn't it?
I can lose 2 shots, whereas the other one I know I'm not going to lose any. And you know, one bad hole can ruin your round sometimes in competition.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ping bag, by the look of it.
I didn't even know until you told me.
Exactly. See, you're going all
I didn't even know until you told me it was a ping bag. It's just probably got.
Don't tell me your wife bought it for you. No,
no, she didn't. I bought it. I could probably do. I don't know what's in here, but I could probably do a full medical operation here, I reckon. Or something. You know, you got your waterproofs in there.
Okay.
All I use, I don't even bother putting my head on the driver cover. Okay. I don't see the point. I tend to just leave it off here all the time. No umbrella.
No umbrella.
Very rarely used an umbrella.
Well, it might get wet today, might not.
It's usually too windy sometimes. Then you've got to hold it, and then it blows away. I don't mind the rain. It's only water.
True.
I've got a hat on. I can have waterproofs on. I feel more comfortable on that.
Yep.
So and this bag, you know, obviously that's handy there. Little thing to keep your clubs there, always handy. Tees.
Have you got wooden yet? Because that's the
if you're a confident golfer, try playing with a green golf ball.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. You do use quite often coloured balls actually on this course.
I was one of the first people ever to use yellow golf balls many years ago, over 20 years ago. Now it's obviously very common, but round here you've got a lot of yellow things that I can see all around here.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of little yellow
stuff. This is not a course to
gorse and stuff.
This is not a course to use yellow balls on if you don't know where your ball goes down the middle of the fairway.
I get the same problem if you're playing them in the autumn in parkland. Suddenly you can't see so many leaves and it all just blends in.
It can be a problem. It can be a problem doing that. So I mean, this other bag here, this is just all the balls. I've even got an orange one that was a Christmas present. I might hit that when I'm doing 3 off the tee or something for a bit of fun.
So do you use a specific ball or just kind of anything that comes along?
I tend to use at the moment these Strixon ones.
Okay. He's now looking to even see which Strixon it was.
Z-Star. I used to be AD333s. This is Z-Star. Again, I'm not a great believer in the balls make a lot of difference. They're all round and they all fly, and if you hit them well, they all go well. I don't take it over seriously on which golf ball. If someone gave me some different golf balls, I'll be quite happy to play with them.
Yeah.
There's not a particular reason. I mean, I used to just go by. There's only certain yellow golf balls you can get when you go in, and when you go to a pro shop, they only used to stock one brand of yellow golf balls. So I used to just get whatever. Yeah,
you're more colour than performance.
Well, I'm a bit red and green colourblind, and I find the yellow one stands out for me. But like I say, just the problem is here is all the other bits of yellow around here.
Okay, so very quickly, any more quirky stuff?
I usually tend to carry after khakis. A spare set of gloves, of course.
Okay.
Right hand, left hand, because sometimes in winter it can get a little bit cold.
Yeah, I like wearing 2 gloves, especially in wet weather. Actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Not when I'm filming, but otherwise.
I think I've got them back. Oh, of course, and this is for Sean, our friend Sean, as we know.
Yeah.
For paying him every week.
Paying him every week because he beats you every time. Yeah. So you have seen Sean on the channel. We will be getting Sean on the channel from time to time.
That pocket here is for reserve golf balls when all these ones have run out.
Yeah, we get that a lot of problem at West Cornwall as well.
We do. So it's always worth keeping a few there. I don't even know what's in here. Drinks, hat, Olympic Games 2012. I saw the 100 metres final.
Just showing off, aren't you?
Only lasted 10 seconds.
You'll be name dropping.
A little bit less, yeah. No, I can't name drop.
Watch it in slow motion. It takes more time.
Well, they made you all stand up.
Yeah.
Which is just as well, because otherwise someone stands up in front of you and it's 10 seconds, and by that time Usain Bolt, he's gone there. But fantastic. That was the only tickets I managed to get. Applied for loads. That was the only one I got.
Okay, so we're going to move quickly because Steve is in the corner waving us saying our tea time is about due. So we're going to nip out.
We're going to nip out.
Yeah, he's had practice for the last half an hour. You had no practice. That's the way he works.
I played yesterday
to win a bit of money off him.
With Sean and Derek, so I'm okay. I don't tend to play this first hole well. I find it's quite tricky. I don't get a shot in this hole, and it's quite a...
It's a challenge.
It is a challenge, but you get to know things in Cornwall. You can aim it 10 yards to the left of that green, and they balls will all filter down into the right.
Yeah.
So you either can go for green or 10 yards left. But if you don't get that quite 10 yards left, your ball will then suddenly go another 10 yards to the left.
Yeah.
So there are little things you can do here. You don't have to aim. You sometimes have some gaps that are wide that you can aim for. We might not get them, but you get to learn them after a while.
You're like Nick, he just never shuts up. Honestly, he talk for England, he could. So, we're going to get cracking. Thank you very much, Nick.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Brilliant. Welcome to the Buccaneers,
it's
mate.
Nice to know what I have in the bag.
Yeah, and I'd like to have explained to you what you got in your bag. You don't know very often. So, we're going to let these gentlemen go and play, and we'll put on another video. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please subscribe, please hit the notification bell, do all those things, tell your friends. We are building up a big community all across the southwest of the UK, and we'd like you to be part of that.